Welcome back to Ordinary Council Meeting 4548 of Hunters Hill Council. We went into closed session to discuss the proposed electric vehicle charging infrastructure at Henley, item 4.3. The commercial terms were noted in the agreement that we were discussing as part of that commercial in confidence discussion. There is a recommendation on item 4.3 in the report. Is there a mover? Moved, Councillor Prieston.
I'd like to move to defer this motion.
Move to defer. Is that seconded? Councillor Williams. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, just
Councillor Prieston.
To explain my motion to defer, I think upon reviewing and discussing the terms of the license agreement in closed session, it's clear that we need a little bit more detail on the commercial terms of that agreement, and it's clear that there also might need to be a few further amendments to the draft. So I think it's prudent of council to receive a final draft for consideration before we move to endorse the general manager to execute the license agreement with the NRA.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. Now move to item 4.4, capital program as at 30 June 2025, works in progress and funding required to be revoted. Is it moved? Councillor Prieston, seconded. Councillor Tanous-Sleeman. Any discussion? Councillor Prieston.
Just a question through you, Mr. Mayor, to the reporting officer. Where we have a negative value in the tables, does that indicate money that we've already spent? Is that how this is working?
Director.
Sorry, let me have a look. So there are several columns. Which column are we looking at?
The only column with dollar.
Oh, okay, yeah. So in that case, we've reallocated that funding to other projects.
So the positive figures represent what?
Additional expenditure.
So the negative values are figures that we are carrying over.
So we have three different tables. The first table is the revotes.
Yes.
So that is expenditure that we need to be reauthorised.
Yep.
And then so any figure in that table.
And that's because we didn't complete the works in the last financial year.
Yeah.
Commence or complete. Yeah.
No, we can commence that.
Understand that table, and then carry over table.
Carry over tables. We're telling the same story.
Okay.
We have commenced those works, but we need to carry that budget forward.
Okay, and then where the negative figures are in
negative figures.
Table C.
Adjustments to the budget where we've reallocated funding from certain, say, footpath projects to other projects that had a high priority.
So how do we read, for example, the negative 16,000 or odd figure for Riverside Preschool? Is that $16,000 less than what we allocated to it previously, or?
Sorry, bear with me.
Sorry.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I just wasn't sure how to read it.
Reallocating that to other works. So we made savings there.
Savings of 16,000.
Correct, and we've reallocated it to other works.
So, is there a?
So, Councillor.
It's just hard to know what we've spent on it. I guess it doesn't really matter if what we're talking about.
There is a detailed attachment that lists every
what we've spent, and it should be net of.
Correct. Yes.
Is that what those figures show?
Okay. Yeah. And so the important column I think for you there is the unders and overs.
Yep.
We've identified where we spent more, where we spent less, and there's a comment about then what we've done with that adjustment.
Okay.
Councillor Lane, you got a question?
Thank you. Sorry, trying to lower my hand. I had several questions. We usually debate individual items when they hit around the 10 to 25K mark, I've noticed. So, for example, the youth programs, when we have licenses, things like that. I guess I wanted to go through a couple of the items that are above that threshold and understand where they came from. And so they're all, so tables A and B, I get that. That's just, let's call it administrative. So I was really focused on table C, where we're moving money around. Starting with the depot operations strategy. So we've allocated across two different budgets, 105,861 to a depot operations strategy. But we haven't had a paper or voted on having a depot operations strategy. So can we get a bit more information about that?
I would imagine that would be that would not be a council matter. That would be operational. But I'm happy for the general manager to.
So that's sorry.
Yeah, Chief Financial Officer.
Oh, CFO.
Mr. Mayor. So that is actually the delivery of the new depot facility. And so the project has been called Depot Operations Strategy. That is the delivery of the physical facility.
Right.
Director.
So that's 105,861 more than we had budgeted for that now needs to be accounted for that depot. Is that how I read that?
Perhaps I just take a note of the details and I'll send an email to all councillors tomorrow rather than attempt to.
I think Sam can answer this one.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the money that was reallocated for this came out of the SV roads. The depot operation strategy that was endorsed by council ran on budget, but a lot of the road infrastructure that was associated with it, the footpaths around the grandstand, etc., were reallocated from the SV so that we could do it all up at the same time. So it became part of that project. It was always those works were planned. However, they moved into the depot operations strategy, if you know what I mean. So the footpath around the grandstand moved in. Then we had stormwater works that were done, curb and gutter that was done up near Oval 3. That was work that was not part of the scope, but it was done to redirect stormwater based on runoff that was occurring. So all of those works were part of our civil, sort of our contract.
I appreciate that, except for two things. One is the first amount for 36 does actually say it's building overspend. And then I also wanted to query the $132,393,000 for Baronia Park car park rehabilitation post 30 June 2025, given that we rehabilitated that car park in October 2024 in time for opening. So it feels again that some of the work that you're describing, I would have thought would have fallen into the 132,393 of Baronia Park car park rehabilitation as well.
Elaine, could you perhaps, if you've got significant detail questions, you've just heard from the director that he's happy to answer those queries. Can you maybe detail those in an email so we can actually get you an answer rather than doing it sort of on the fly?
So my real concern here is we're signing off on $3 million, and each of these individual items does need this level of attention. You know, we've got $181,000 for Buffalo Creek Reserve. We've got a bunch of individual houses that are getting prioritised over whole streets. Now, I think even just looking at the 1, 2, 4 items, depending on how you do it, that are around 100,000 or more, they should have their own papers. I mean, I just think rather than saying, oh, look, let's deal with this by emails and, we'll get back to it. This is, again, goes to the heart of whether or not we're being good financial managers. I don't think we should be passing. I mean, sorry, I'm happy for us to pass table A and table B for the sake of, 30 June tidying up. But I personally don't think we should be passing table C reallocations without significantly more information about how we're moving such large sums of money around.
I'll come back to you. Thank you, councillor Lane. Councillors, any further questions? Councillor Preston.
Just one question from me, in relation to my earlier question, to the officer. The footpaths in table C, which have negative values attributed to them, and the curb and gutter, same diff. In the more detailed table annexures, these are, correct me if I'm wrong, projects which we were unable to deliver, full stop, and the money's being pulled from those projects and won't be, because they're not ones that say they've been deferred to the next financial year.
Correct.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, that what happened with our footpath renewal program and our curb and gutter is we reprioritised the program based on condition.
Yes.
So the SV funding we had for footpaths, we stayed the same.
Yep.
We just reallocated based on priority. So for instance, if you look in here, Mackinson Street is in here. So the driveways and stormwater work were done as well. So it wasn't that we were spending more or anything else. We had a new chief engineer who came in and said, I think these are a high priority, and based on inspections we agreed to it, and that's why they were reallocated. Nothing more than that. So basically the ones that were supposed to be done next year have gone back into our digital asset management plan, and they'll be reallocated according to the new condition data.
Okay, so then I just struggle with what's the difference between the ones in the annexure which say, they've been carried forward. Like, why would we not carry forward everything, or is it because we don't have the funds to carry them forward?
The 24-25 capital works budget had an allocation of budget projects. The carryovers are projects that we have contracted out.
Yeah,
they're about to be done, but because of rain delays in most cases, they're going to take a month or so. So in about September, all of those will be completed. So
like all of these ones with negative
in table 2, the carryovers.
Yes, what I'm saying is the ones that were deferred with no carryover.
The revote ones, table A.
No, table C, footpaths and curb and gutter that have been deferred, like the ones with negative values. Everard Street, Ferry Street, Jubber Street, Ferdinand Street, Durham Street.
So that's what so yes, they are related. That's what I'm saying. We reallocated those footpath works to the footpath. So certain footpath program changed to another footpath program with a very similar budget, and that's why we're it's messy. We're rejuggling funds to make sure that the program is
based on conditions.
Based on what we've done.
So they will be done by September.
These projects, the footpath projects, up here, if you look at the footpath projects in table 2,
yes,
most of those footpath projects have either been done or going to be done.
Sorry, I'm just talking about table C.
If you see table 2, the footpath works in table 2 are the works that are also in table 3. Table 3, so like the Buffalo Creek. So the bottom of page 31, the 95 Park Road, 13A Earnshaw, those works.
Yes, because they're not the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the negative value ones.
Yeah, they're not going to be delivered. So they've been put back in the asset pot and they'll be delivered in maybe 2 or 3 years' time when we need to deliver them.
Yay.
Councillors, any further questions? Councillor Williams.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Bit curious. Table A, we say that they're being revoted and they haven't been started, but we say here awaiting delivery. The Woolwich Baths work is just about completed. So how are we revoting something that's supposed to have not been done that is now basically being done?
General Manager.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, because these items they commenced after the 30th of June.
So we've been doing the work down at,
even though council hasn't voted that.
yeah, we've got a works program that we need to keep working on, councillors. But that's the general with most of those items. Councillors, I'd like to just probably, Mr. Mayor, make a comment. This is not the best way of doing this. I've already talked to the staff. We've got new regulations for quarterly reporting issued by the Office of Local Government starting in September. A lot of this stuff will not be coming to you in the future because you will know about it every quarter. Leaving some of this stuff to the end of the year is not appropriate and won't happen in the future. It needs to be brought to your attention on a quarterly basis when it's happening. And when we know that things can't be completed or something's been reduced, or some more money's required. We're really revamping the budgeting and the reporting. Then you'll get a lot more information about all this stuff in the future because it's something that you should be getting. I just can't be more clear than
Councillor Williams.
I'm concerned that we vote on these works for the budget. And now, for some reason, whether those works are now being prioritised, redone, I thought we had an asset management process and plan that identifies the risk and maintenance of these assets. So why have so many all of a sudden changed dramatically without any clarification as to why they've changed? The other issue I've got is that, say, in several of these coming out of the special rate variation, which my understanding of special rate variation was about roads and footpaths, not about supporting other infrastructure in the community. And we still we reported on our performance within those special rate variations. I can't remember seeing. The one here that strikes me a little bit strange is the Barony Park Sporting and Community Facility overspend due to unbudgeted payment. We completed that project some 18 months ago, and it ran well over budget, started off at 3 million and ended up in the 7 millions. So why are we still paying money out to this project?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm not across this particular one.
I am, councillors, because we didn't budget it properly. We didn't put raise a creditor, outstanding creditor for the retention money. It was always going to need to be paid at some point in time, and no one budgeted properly for it. That's what I'm saying. These are the things we've got to get improved for the future so that we don't get these surprises.
Councillors, any other questions? All right. Any further debate? We move this one. Yes. Councillor Preston, right, reply. No, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That is carried with the dissent of Councillor Lane, Councillor Williams. Councillors, can I just check? Is there anything in items 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, 4.10 that you are desperate to talk to? Or can I have a motion to move them in block?
One sec.
Councillor, move Councillor Denise Lehman. Sorry, Councillor Lane. Second.
I did want to discuss 4.7, the outdoor footpath occupation.
That is fine. If I've had a mover and a seconder to move them in block, but you can speak to that item in the block if that makes sense to you.
Well, I would rather not vote for it. So if we can move it out of block, if that...
Okay. Councillor Tanus Lehman, Councillor Kassab, are you happy to amend your motion to remove item 4.7?
No.
No. Councillor Kassab? No. Okay. Well, we've just got a motion to move those in block, which we'll deal with. Any further discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. We'll now move those items in block. That's item 4.7, 4.5, investment strategy, policy and portfolio review for year ending 30 June 2025. 4.6, summary of council investments as at 31st July 2025. 4.7, draft footpath occupation display policy. Item 4.8, development applications determined under delegated authority in July 2025. 4.9, report on legal matters. 4.10, council briefings and workshops. Is there a mover? Moved Councillor Tannous-Sleeman, seconded Councillor Kassab. Discussion. Councillor Tannous-Sleeman, do you wish to speak to the motion? No. Councillor Bagara.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to item 4.9.
Yes.
Probably three things. Number one, I've spoken to the director just about updating the reporting so that we can get an understanding of the issue that's the subject of the proceeding. You know, building height, view, bulk scale, just so we, at the moment, it's just very procedural about what happens in the litigation. So we've spoken to Director about that. Number two, Director, could you give us an update? Because this is there's a little bit of lag in this reporting. Number three, through you, Mr. Mayor, General Manager, could we get an update on the public funding for the Marina Crusade?
Yes.
And maybe an update on the Marina proceedings as well, if it's.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, I can answer the legal funding contributions. As of today, the contributions, community contributions total $4,780. In relation to the legal proceedings, I think we'd be best to talk about that in closed session, but happy to give you an update in closed session of the next steps and a couple of issues that I have that I think need to be raised tonight. The other questions in relation to.
Through you, Mayor, I'll do the question with regard to upskilling or further clarifying the summary of the legals. A suggestion might be that we obviously put the address, the proposal, then highlight refusal or deemed refusal, and then we go into the issues such as height, not excess in height, excess in scale, waterscape impacts, and then talk about the issues raised by the SOFAC, and then put a conclusion on
Right.
there.
Thank
So
you.
that's what we'll do for next. And the second part of your question is a lag. This is July, and following we're in late August now, and I can report that some of these items have been concluded and resolved. Even one today will be possibly resolved. So I do a quick sum. You're looking at only 4 class 1s, 5 including the marina, and 1 class 4. So we reduced 14 down to say 5 at the moment.
Right.
And the marina, the general manager will give you an update on the marina issue. We need to do it confidential for obvious reasons, but we're given an outcome of background.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Lane.
Thank you. Just on 4.9, one thing that if we can get it in open session, it does say in this that the hearing's set for the 4th of September. It'd be good to clarify if that's still set down for a couple of weeks from now.
Director.
Yes, for the marina, that's correct.
Yes.
Still
Thank you.
great.
Councillor Lane, did you want to talk to item 4.7?
Yes. So my concern with 4.7 is we already have a outdoor dining policy. So this is looking at displaying goods on the pavement. It's not something that usually is associated with a positive contribution to the streetscape and so on. And so I had a few questions. The first one was to understand where the demand had come from to start to allow people to advertise on the street. It's something that most councils obviously don't do, and very, very closely circumscribed. And the second one was there's a reference to a fee, a yearly rental fee to be paid, and for some of the costs like council marking the boundaries to be covered by this fee, but there's no information about what this fee would be. So I guess I'd just start with those two questions.
Director.
through you, Mayor, there has been through the years a demand from the business community, in particular Woolwich, Garibaldi, the Huntersville Village, Huntersville Village and Glaysville, mainly the commercial areas, to put their display of their goods. It's not a display of advertising; it's a display of their goods,
Yeah.
and as stated in the report, it's to encourage local shopping, to encourage amenity, economic viability within the commercial business centres, and it is a positive contribution to the streetscape. A number of councils do this: Mossman, Lane Cove, Willoughby, Hornsby, Willoughby. Yeah. So a lot of councils, because of the community outcry or request to provide that village atmosphere, and Huntersville is a village atmosphere in the commercial, to ensure that, also ensuring that it's not a hazard or a risk, and no A-frames. It's very detailed in the policy, and it's only a policy to go on exhibition at this stage and hear what the community's got to say, and we'll report back. It does talk about a fee will be charged, a per square metre fee, under the fees and charges. That will be the next stage once we go forward, and that will be explained in the further reports to council to adopt it informally.
And Councillor Lane, for context, we've had long-running issues with some shop owners that do. Just front of mind is Sylvia from Lost and Found was constantly being told that she had to put her material back in the shop. The florist up there, Ironwood, a lot of shop fronts that display their material are doing so in contravention of our adopted policy. So this is a long running issue.
Okay, and then I suppose the second part for me, which is the sort of the more concern with the substance of it rather than the form, is again, if you look at the footpath dining policy, it spends quite a bit of time talking about the look and feel that we're looking for, and whether or not, I don't have it in front of me, but if the aesthetics of the tables and chairs aren't up to scratch, that council has remedies. We only have the minimum distance of 2 meters, and then a sort of none of the aesthetic or substantive components that are in the footpath dining policy have made it into here. There's just this sort of locational criteria, and some of the locational criteria are a bit bizarre. Like 20% of the total footpath area, footpath is 5 meters. That's a meter. If a footpath is 3 meters, it's whatever it is, 600 centimeters. It doesn't really reflect what they might need to be doing, and it doesn't really. I can't see where it's come from. In addition to the clear distance of 2 meters, I know that the clear distance of 2 meters is in the footpath dining policy, but it's not actually in accordance with the latest state recommended policy, which is the walking space guide, and both policies should probably be in accordance with the walking space guide as opposed to making up their own dimension. I think, I just don't understand how, without some of those key components, like, safeguards over the aesthetics of what's being put out there, or actions and remedies that we can take if the things aren't aesthetically pleasing in the way that they're described in the footpath dining policy, the right widths for clear pedestrian paths, particularly if we're talking about being able to clutter up these villages where we have a lot of people walking, and without an idea of the license fee, how we can go forward on this.
Through you, Mayor, we've looked at numerous other policies, other like government areas that have tested this and are operating with this policy at the moment. We've looked at our footpaths they range from about 3.2 to 3.5. So to ensure that there's safety and accessibility for wheelchairs and prams, a 2 metre is accessible and acceptable width. Other councils, like I said, we've tested this, but also reviewed the current policies that are currently working in other councils with regard to this this policy. This policy is only a draft which will go out on exhibition for the community to make comment, and we can address that and take on board these comments. With regard to fees and charges, like I said, it's chicken and the egg. If we're going to go forward, let's go forward, and then we'll provide that information and do an analysis of what the fees and charges are, and we'll have to change that policy as well to incorporate that. Thank you.
Oh, that'll be adopted in our annual rates and charges. Councillors, any further? Sorry, Councillor Williams.
A question in relation to that 2 metre issue. You reference it or tie it to a curb line. What if the curb has a vegetation area or whatever? Are we just talking about a hard stand of the footpath rather than the curb line? Because if it's 2 metres back from a curb, then you could have part of that 2 metres being unnavigable. So wouldn't it be better to reference to the edge of the path?
We can do that. That's a good point. There's also planter boxes, and if you look at the commercial areas, there's no impediments for that sort of thing. It's to provide clear access and accessibility, so we can take that on board tonight.
Because where you've got stone ground, you've got a raised area, and then you've got a
Planter box.
planter boxes.
And that's,
Would be
that's fair enough. And I think, councillors, we can nuance this. We can nuance this
We
and
need
the feedback to come through.
We can clarity with regard to what's the intent is to provide clear, unimpeded access of 2 metres and then you look at that, and then we'll have a look at that for you. But I think the whole intent tonight is to, if you want to take it to exhibition or you don't want to take it to exhibition, it's on the table. Thank you.
Councillors, any further questions? Comments? Councillor Preston.
Very minor question. On page 59 of the report in relation to investment strategy recommendations, we've got one really long dated tenor on our maturity profile there. It's in yellow. Is that the directly held bond with CBA? Is that what that yellow thing is? It'd be helpful if they gave us a legend credential, but it's okay if you don't know because it's not your report. I understand that.
I think we can get that back. Get that.
Yeah, that would be good. And just maybe a bit of thought around that recommendation that we continue to add to the long dated portfolio is an interesting one. I don't know if we're considering that or.
I think we'll be in a better position to consider that when we've done our work on the long-term financial plan. So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't want to sort of commit to anything long-term at the moment.
Thank you, councillors. Any further discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That is carried with the dissent of councillors Williams and Lane. Councillors, we have. Sorry, councillor Lane.
I voted for the block.
Oh, sorry, I missed. There's a lag in the timeline there. So just with the dissent of councillor Williams, councillors, we have a item to discuss in the committee of the whole. Do I have a motion to move in the committee of the whole or closed session? I should say. Move councillor Kassab, seconded councillor Tanous-Sleeman. Any discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That is carried. I think. Does that vote for that, councillor Williams?
As long as we're only dealing with item 8.1.
That's all that there is on the agenda, councillor Williams.
The general manager indicated.
And provide an update on another item.
That can't be done. It's not the general.
They can provide an update. It doesn't need to be a resolution. Doesn't need to be passed. Councillors, we don't have general business anymore, according to the model code. Councillors, there is a motion to go into committee of the whole. That has been voted on. Councillor Williams has abstained. That's passed. So we'll close off the video link and